Hi and welcome to Fedmail. Thank you for joining us on this Friday afternoon. I'm Stephen Schimmel. I'll be your host for the next 5 minutes or so. I hope you're doing well, in good health, and in good spirits. This has been a busy week for us, beginning with a report that came out from Amnesty criticizing Israeli treatment of Palestinians and classifying it as apartheid. We've listed a link below in the message where you can listen to a report from some experts on the subject. The program was provided by Jewish Federations of North America and the Jewish Council for Public Affairs. They brought together a group of experts to discuss exactly what this report said and what the implications are. It's important to note this has been major news headlines across the globe, and we ought to be very well versed in it and understand why this report was troubling and problematic. Also, unfortunate news, Whoopi Goldberg earlier this week claimed that the Holocaust was not about race. She was factually incorrect. It was Holocaust revisionism at its worst. She made an apology that was accepted by many people in the Jewish community and then subsequently went on the Colbert Report, or the Colbert Show, Stephen Colbert, the late night show with Stephen Colbert, doubled down basically on what she said at first, and really was just, it showed just a characteristic misunderstanding of the events of the Holocaust. A lot of people took her words to be anti-Semitic, but what is very clear is that Holocaust education is so unbelievably important, and we can't look at the Holocaust through the lens of race as we see it in the United States, because the two are very different. Of course, we know that the Nazis quite literally said that the Jews are a race, and that is why they sought to exterminate us. In fact, they hoped to establish a museum for the extinct race of the Jewish people, and they were collecting artifacts from Jewish communities around Europe. So Whoopi Goldberg is certainly wrong about this. I spoke on the Jordan Levy Show, which is a local radio show in Central Mass, and on Spectrum News. I don't have links to either of those because I'm not sure that either of those shows record their broadcasts, but essentially I said the same thing I said now, stressing the importance of Holocaust education, particularly at a time when the Holocaust is trivialized, inappropriate comparisons are made between events taking place today and what took place under the Nazi reign of terror. Anti-Semitism is rising, so we have to really dig our heels in when it comes to pushing back against comments like the comments that Whoopi Goldberg made, but not only doing that, but explaining just why this was incorrect. So those were two major things that happened this week, and of course we're also following the news on the Ukrainian-Russian border. That's deeply troubling and concerning. Massive troop call-ups. The Russians have placed battalions along the Ukrainian border, some of the largest troop movements since World War II, and we're all holding our breath on that. I certainly am hoping for peace. And of course, we are also in the middle of re-establishing talks related to the Iranian nuclear program. When the JCPOA, when the Iranian nuclear deal was canceled under the Trump administration, the Iranians rapidly began to ramp up production of uranium, their uranium centrifuges, which refine the uranium, which is the most important step to creating a nuclear weapon. And it's now, there's an effort from the major players involved in the negotiations from 2015 to reestablish some sort of framework to keep the Iranians from obtaining a nuclear weapon. And a report came out maybe 2 or 3 days, just this week, 2 or 3 days ago, saying that even with a new nuclear deal, the Iranians will be less than a year away from breakout capability, meaning that they would be able to have a nuclear weapon, essentially. The Israeli government and previous Israeli governments going back almost 20 years have said that this is the number one most important concern for them, and it's got to be taken care of. So, a lot of news. Let's pivot now and talk about some things taking place in the community. It's always funny to have this segue. What am I going to say? So, if you want to learn Hebrew, And I'm not being facetious. If you want to learn Hebrew, our wonderful Shaliach Aviv Jerby, who will be with us for the remainder of the year into the summer, is doing a Hebrew teaching class, Cafe Ivrit. You can sign in. I believe it's every other week, so you can get in your share of learning Hebrew, and that's great. Very important. Should be a lot of fun. The whiskey tasting that he set up, again, set up by our Shaliach Aviv, sold out. Everyone wants to do the whiskey tasting. And lastly, on February 27th, he's doing a program. Again, Aviv is doing a program on the legacy of Yitzhak Rabin. You'll remember that Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated in the 1990s. He had been instrumental. He was the Israeli representative during the peace accords that took place in the 90s with guidance from Bill Clinton. And there will be a program put on by Yad to discuss the legacy of Yitzhak Rabin. I'm interested to see it. On February 10th, there's a JCC author series program, Once We Were Slaves, The Extraordinary Journey of a Multiracial Family. You don't want to miss that. And on February 13th, the journey from Ethiopia to Afula. Afula is our sister city in the north of Israel, part of the Southern New England Consortium of Jewish Federations. We all get together, help to fund programs there. We have emissaries from there coming here. We do Living Bridge programs. We've brought in all sorts of musicians and cooks and speakers. So here's a great program. You can learn about the Ethiopian community that left Ethiopia, was rescued really from Ethiopia and resettled in Afula, and what their situation and lives are like. That's February 13th. And last but not least, I have sad news. Frances Jacobson of blessed memory passed away this week. Her husband Howard, absolutely wonderful, terrific philanthropic leaders in the community, leaders in the region in so many different projects and ways. Frances just was a beautiful woman, and our condolences to the family and to the community. She'll certainly be missed. So with that, I want to wish everyone a good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom, stay healthy, stay dry, stay off the roads. I think there's a lot of ice out there right now, and I want you to stay safe. Take care, and thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.